Yam Shri Guru Shiyata Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivishikam Vitam Scha Om Jnana Timaranda Shagyana Jana Shalakaya Chakshuram Indidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gurva Bhistam Sapuragam Gurganara Sesha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipunam Shri Rupa Patanugam Govinda Vidam Ujwalam Bharatanum Bhaktyam Vidam Sundaram Mande Vishwagurun Shah Divyat Bhagavat Prem Nawe Bija Pranam Devam Divyatanum Suchandavaranam Balaka Chelanchitam Sandrananda Puram Sadekavaranam Vairagya Vidyambudim Sri Siddhanta Nidim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Baram Bandetam Shubharam Mareka Sharanam Yashishvara Sridharam Vanchakopatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavenebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabharanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gorata Vishay Namah. So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupad. This is Madhya-lila, chapter 24, explanations of the Atmarama verse, and this is verse number 57. Guru Tulya Shri Ganera Vatsaye Akarshan Dasha Sakyadi Babe Purushade. The women of Vrindavan who are on the level of superior guardians are attracted to Lord Krishna maternally. The men of Vrindavan are attracted as servants, friends, and fathers. So, what they're referring, it says superior guardians, but really what's being talked about is Vatsalya. Vatsalya Ras means parenthood. You have Sakya Ras is a rasa with Krishna of friends, but then there are also persons who are older than Krishna, and their parents, or they may be aunts, uncles. But so here it says the women of Vrindavan who are on that level. It says superior guardians. It means Vatsalya Ras, more older than Krishna, are attracted to Lord Krishna maternally, and the men who are older of Vrindavan are attracted as servants, friends, and fathers. Paki Mriga Brikalata Chaitanya Chaitan Bhakti Mriga Brikalata Chaitanya Chaitan Preme Mata Kore Akarshaye Krishna Gun. The qualities of Krishna captivate and attract everything, living and non-living. Even birds, animals, and trees are attracted to Krishna's qualities. Hari Shabde Nanarta Dui Mukyatam Sarva Mangala Hare Premadiya Hariman. Although the word Hari has many different meanings, two of them are foremost. One meaning is that the Lord takes away all inauspicious things from his devotee, and the second meaning is that he attracts the mind by ecstatic love for God. So Hari means he takes anything auspicious, anything inauspicious away from a person. That's one meaning of Hari. And the other is he attracts the mind by ecstatic love of Godhead. Jaichi Taichi Johi Kohi Koraye Smaran Chare Bira Tapa Tara Kore Samaran. When the devotee somehow or other always remembers the Supreme Personality of Godhead anywhere and everywhere, Lord Hari takes away life's four miserable conditions. The four miserable conditions are due to the four kinds of sinful activities known as patak, urupatak, mahapatak, and atipatak. Preliminary sin, very great sin, greater sin, and topmost sin. However, Krishna assures the devotee, Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. I will protect you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. The word sarva papebhya indicates four kinds of sinful activities. As soon as the devotee surrenders unto Krishna's lotus feet, he is certainly relieved from all sinful activities and their results. The four basic sinful activities are summarized as illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, and meat eating. Yatagni su samridharchi karoti edamshi bhashmasat tatamad vishaya bhaktir udavain amshi krishna shaha. As all fuel is burned to ashes by a full-fledged fire, all sinful activities are totally erased when one engages in devotional service to me. Tabe kore bhakti bhadaka karma abhidyanash shravanadyer phala prema koraye prakash. In this way, when all sinful activities are vanquished by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one gradually vanquishes all kinds of impediments on the path of devotional service, as well as the ignorance resulting from these impediments. After this, one totally manifests his original love of Godhead through devotional service in 9 different ways, hearing, chanting, and so forth. Nijagune tabe hare dehendriyaman aiche kripalu Krishna aiche taragun. When the devotee is freed from all sinful material activities, Krishna attracts his body, mind, and senses to his service. Thus, Krishna is very merciful, and his transcendental qualities are very attractive. Estamos en el texto 64. Okay. Chari Purusharta Charai Gune Hare Sabarman Hare Shabdera E Mukya Kohilun Lakan. When one's mind, senses, and body are attracted to the transcendental qualities of Hari, one gives up the 4 principles of material success. Thus I have explained the chief meanings of the word Hari. The 4 principles of material success are... That's not one of them. The 4 principles of material success are religious performance, economic development, sense gratification and liberation, or dharmartha kama moksha, or merging into the impersonal effulgence of Brahman, liberation. Or 4 principles of material success are religious performance, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, or merging into the impersonal effulgence of Brahman. These things do not interest the devotee. Cha api dui shabda tate avyaya hoy, che arta lagaye se arta hoy. When the conjunction cha, and the adverb api, although, are added to this verse, the verse can assume whatever meaning one wants to give it. Tatapi cha karera kohe mukya artashat. The word cha can be explained in 7 ways. So what Mahaprabhu is doing with Sanatan Goswami is very educated, and Mahaprabhu is explaining the Atmarama verse from Srimad Bhagavatam in 61 different ways, which many, many meanings. And in order to do that, he's referring to different meanings of all the words. So this can be done with Sanskrit. And someone who's expert in Sanskrit can explain in many different meanings. And Mahaprabhu is exceeding what is normally possible because he's explaining the Atmarama verse with 61 different meanings. Chanva chaye samahare nyonyarte cha samuchaye yatnantare tatapara puranepi avadarane. The word cha, and, is used to connect a word or sentence with a previous word or sentence, to give the sense of aggregation, to assist the meaning, to give a collective understanding, to suggest another effort or exertion, or to fulfill the meter of a verse. It is also used in the sense of certainty. So this is different meanings in Sanskrit to the word cha, which is and. But also, according to grammar in English, if you use the word and, it can also mean some of these same things, like to connect a word or sentence with a previous word or sentence. Like you could say with the word and, to connect two sentences. He was running and he was calling to his friends. So it's connected two sentences. To give the sense of aggregation also, you could say, like, to add something, aggregation. He was a student and he was very smart. So you're adding something, or aggregation. He was a student and very smart. So you're adding aggregation to assist the meaning. So it's all points of grammar, but Sanskrit grammar here. But the same rules of grammar also apply in English. Not all of them, but api shabde mukhya artha shata vikyata, because Sanskrit grammar has particular endings. Just like we're used to certain endings in Spanish. Like o, like muchacho, muchacha. Muchachos, muchachos. There are different endings. In English, that's not so common, but in Sanskrit, different endings mean different things also. Api shabde mukhya artha shata vikyata vikyata. There are 7 chief meanings of the word api. They are as follows. Api sambhavana prashna shanka garha samuchaye tata yukta padarteshu kamachara kriyasucha. So api is meaning although. There are 7 chief meanings of the word api. They are as follows. Api sambhavana prashna shanka garha samuchaye tata yukta padarteshu kamachara kriyasucha. The word api is used in the sense of possibility, question, doubt, censure, aggregation, appropriate application of things, and extravagance. So Mahaprabhu is going to expand the meaning of this verse using all these different dictionary definitions and word usages of, so he can. That's why in Sanskrit it's so possible to change the meanings, and there's so many different meanings possible. So people translate the Bhagavad Gita and they completely change the meaning based on their translation, because it's possible in Sanskrit.
There's room for interpretation.
Huh?
There's room for interpretation.
Well, there's room for manipulation also. Eta ekadasha padera artha nirnoy evesh lokartha kori jata jelagoy. I have now described the different meanings of the 11 separate words. Now let us Now let me give the complete meaning of the shloka as it is applied in different places. Brahma Shabdarartha Tattva Sarva Brihatama Swarupa Aishvarya Kori Nahi Jarasama. The word Brahma indicates the summum bonum, the absolute truth, which is greater than all other truths. It is the original identity, and there can be nothing equal to that absolute truth. So Brahma refers to what is spiritual. Como Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Now is the time to understand what is spiritual life. Okay? So the word Brahma indicates the summum bonum, the absolute truth, which is greater than all other truths. It is the original identity, and there can be nothing equal to that absolute truth. Brihatvad Brahmanat Vecha Tad Brahma Paramam Vidu Tasmai Namaste Sarvatman Yogi Chindya Vikaravat. I offer my respectful obeisances to the absolute truth, the summum bonum. He is the all-pervasive, all-increasing subject matter for the great yogis. He is changeless, and he is the soul of all. Say Brahma Shabde Kohe Swayam Bhagavan Advitiya Jnana Jaha Vinanahi An. The proper meaning of the word Brahma is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is one without a second, and without whom nothing else exists. Now this is different than the word Brahma, which means Lord Brahma. This is a different word, Brahma. The proper meaning of the word Brahma is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is one without a second, without whom nothing else exists. Like when we say Param Brahman, the Supreme. Vedanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabhyate. So there it is, brahmeti paramatmeti. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth say that it is non-dual knowledge and is called impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and the personality of Godhead. Say Advaya Tattva Krishna Swayam Bhagavan Tinakale Satyatiho Shastra Praman. That absolute truth, without a second, is Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the supreme truth in the past, present, and future. That is the evidence of all revealed scriptures. Aham evasam evagre nanyadyat sarasat param paschad aham yad arte cha yovasishyeta somshmi aham. Prior to the cosmic creation, only I exist and no phenomena exist, either gross, subtle, or primordial. After creation, only I exist in everything, and after annihilation, only I remain eternally. Prior to the cosmic creation, only I exist and no phenomena exist, either gross, subtle, or primordial. After creation, only I exist in everything, and after annihilation, only I remain eternally. So Mahaprabhu's, there's verses from the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. They're considered 4 essential verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam. They're called Chatushloki. Let's see, I'll check. I believe this verse is one of those chatu shlokes. Prior to the cosmic creation. Aham eva samevagre nanyad yat sarasat param paschadaham yadetatja yogasi sheta sumsmiyaham. Atma Shabde Kohe Krishna Briyatva Swarup Sarva Vyapaka Sarva Sakti Parama Swarup. The word Atma, self, indicates the highest truth, Krishna. He is the all-pervasive witness of all, and he is the supreme form. So, prior to the cosmic creation, only I exist and no phenomena exist, either gross, subtle, or primordial. After creation, only I exist in everything, and after annihilation, only I remain eternally. So it means only Krishna, only he always exists. He exists before the creation, before there's any cosmic manifestation or creation of different planets, earth, life forms, etc. Before the creation, only he exists. During the time of the creation, still everything, only he really exists. And after everything is annihilated, he continues to exist. That means that's the nature of the Supreme. That's the nature of Krishna. As God, he exists before the creation, during the creation, after the creation, and as a person. And Atma Shabde Kohe Krishna Priyatva Swarup Sarva Vyapaka Sarva Sake Parama Swarup. The word Atma, self, indicates the highest truth, Krishna. He is the all-pervasive witness of all, and he is the supreme form. So he is a self, he's a person, he's Atat Tatvajcha Maitritvad Atma I Parama Hari Paramo Hari Atat Tatvajcha Sam Matritvad Atma I Paramo Hari. Hari, the personality of God, is the all-pervasive original source of everything. He is therefore the super soul of everything. Hari, the personality of God, it is the all-pervasive original source of everything. He is therefore the super soul of everything. Say Krishna Prapti Hetu Srivida Sadan Jnana Yoga Bhakti Tiner Pritaka Lagan. There are three ways to attain the lotus feet of the absolute truth, Krishna. There is the process of philosophical speculation, that's Gyan. The practice of mystic yoga, or yoga, and the execution of devotional service, bhakti. Each of these has its different characteristics. There are three ways to attain the lotus feet of the absolute truth, Krishna. Of course, according to the process you follow, your realization is going to be different. If you follow Gyan, your realization will be impersonal. If you follow yoga, you may get to the understanding of the super soul. But if you follow bhakti, you can enter into a relationship with Krishna. There are three ways to attain the lotus feet of the absolute truth, Krishna. There is the process of philosophical speculation, the practice of mystic yoga, and execution of devotional service. Each of these has its different characteristics. Teen sarane bhagavan, teen swarupe bhashe, Brahma Paramatma Bhagavata Trivida Prakashe. The absolute truth is the same, but according to the process by which one understands him, he appears in three forms as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of God. Bhagavan is the Supreme Person. Padanti tat tatvavidas tadvam yadsgyanamadvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabhyate. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth say that it is non-dual knowledge and is called impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and the personality of Godhead. Brahma Atma Shabde Jadi Krishna Re Kahai Radhe Britye Nirvishesha Antarjame Koi. Although the word Brahma and Atma indicate Krishna, their direct meaning refers only to the impersonal Brahman and the Supersoul respectively. Although the words Brahma and Atma indicate Krishna, their direct meaning refers only to the impersonal Brahman and the Supersoul respectively. Jnanamarge nirvishesha Brahma prakashe Jogamarge antarjami swarupete vashe. If one follows the path of philosophical speculation, or Jnanamarg, the Absolute Truth manifests himself as impersonal Brahman. And if one follows the path of mystic yoga, or Yogamarg, he manifests himself as the Supersoul. Raga Bhakti, Vidhi Bhakti, Hoy Dui Rup, Swayam Bhagavate, Bhagavate Prakasha, Dui Rup. There are two kinds of devotional activities, spontaneous and regulative. So that's Ragmarg and Vidhimarg, or Rag Bhakti and Vidhi Bhakti, or Ragmarg and Vidhi Bhakti. Ragmarg and Vidhimarg, but Rag Bhakti, Vidhi Bhakti, Bhakti Hoy Dui Rup, Swayam Bhagavate, Bhagavate Prakasha Dvi Rup. There are two kinds of devotional activity, spontaneous and regulative. By spontaneous devotional service, one attains the original personality of Godhead, Krishna, and by the regulative process, one attains the expansion of the personality of Godhead. That means Narayan or Vishnu. So by Vidhimarg, you attain Narayan. By Ragmarg, you attain Krishna. There are two kinds of devotional activity, spontaneous and regulative. By spontaneous devotional service, one attains the original personality of Godhead, Krishna, and by the regulative process, one attains the expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Raga Bhakti Braje Svayam Bhagavane Pai. By executing devotional service in Vrindavan, one attains the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Nayam Sukapo Bhagavan Dehinam Gopika Sutta Jnaninam Shatma Bhutanam Yatha Bhakti Matam Miha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, the son of Mother Yashoda, is accessible to those devotees engaged in spontaneous loving service, but he is not as easily accessible to mental speculators, to those striving for self-realization by severe austerities and penances, or to those who consider the body the same as the self. So Krishna can be realized by devotees engaged in spontaneous devotional service, but not so for persons who follow the path of knowledge or who try to understand spiritual life through austerities and penances and like that, or to those who consider the body the same as the self, who consider this body as my identity. They won't be able to understand Krishna. Vidhi Bhakti Parshada Dehe Vaikunte Tejai. By executing regulative devotional service, one becomes an associate of Narayan and attains the Vaikuntha Lokas, the spiritual planets in the spiritual sky. So that's the result of Vidhimarg. Vidhi Bhakti Parsha Dehe Vaikunte Tejai. By executing regular devotional service, one becomes an associate of Narayan and attains the Vaikuntha Lokas, the spiritual planets in the spiritual sky. Yajcha Vrajanti Animisham Rishabhanuvritya Dure Yama I Upare Na Sprihaniya Shilaha Bharturmita Su Yashasa Katanuraga Vaiklavya Bhashpa Kalaya Palaki Kritanga. Those who discuss the activities of Lord Krishna are on the highest platform of devotional life, and they evince the symptoms of tears in the eyes and bodily jubilation. Such persons discharge devotional service to Krishna without practicing the rules and regulations of the mystic yoga system. They possess all spiritual qualities, and they are elevated to the Vaikuntha planets which exist above us. Say Upashaka hoy Tribida Prakar Akamsha Moksha Kama Sarva Kama Ar. The devotees are divided into three categories. Akama, without desires or desireless. Moksha Kama, desiring liberation. And Sarva Kama, desiring material perfection. So what this means, Akama has no desires. Moksha Kama, moksha is liberation, so moksha kama means they want to become liberated. Or in the West they say, oh, I want to go to heaven. Moksha kama. Desiring liberation. And sarva kama, desiring material perfection, but sarva kama literally means wanting everything. So one person is a kama that has no desire for anything. Another person has moksha kama, desire for liberation. And the other person, sarva kama, desires everything. That's a materialist. He wants everything. Akama sarva kamo va, moksha kama udaradi, tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. One who is actually intelligent, although he may be a devotee free from material desires, a karmi desiring all kinds of material facilities, or a jnani desiring liberation, should seriously engage in bhakti yoga for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who is actually intelligent, although he may be a devotee free from material desires, a karmi desiring all kinds of material facilities, or a jnani desiring liberation, should seriously engage in bhakti yoga for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Buddhiman arte jadi vichara jnana hoy, Nijakama lagiya tabe Krishna reva joy. The meaning of the word udaradi is buddhiman, intelligent or considerate. Because of this, even for one's own sense gratification, one engages in the devotional service of Lord Krishna. Bhakti Vinu Kon Sarana Ditenare Val Sab Valadeya Bhakti Swatandra Prabha. The other processes cannot yield results unless they are associated with devotional service. Devotional service, however, is so strong and independent that it can give one all the desired results. So, like karma, material activity, it can't give you any good results, any favorable results unless they're associated with devotional service. So then karma becomes karma yoga. And what does karma yoga mean? It means you offer the results of your activities to Krishna. It's not the same as bhakti. In bhakti you're offering everything to Krishna, but when karma becomes mixed with a little devotional service, then you think, well, I'll offer the results to Krishna. So I like to do this. I like to do this activity. I want to play music, so I'll offer my music to the Lord. But you still maintain, it's not bhakti, you're still maintaining the sense of your own desire. I want to play music. So, and that's jnana. Jnana, when it's mixed with bhakti, becomes jnana yoga. And what is the other one? karma and karma yoga. Karma is mixed with devotion, it becomes karma yoga. Gyan, when it's mixed with devotion, it becomes jnana yoga. So, instead of dry knowledge, it becomes speculative knowledge. But bhakti binu kon sarana dite narifal shabfala deya bhakti swatantra prabhav. The other processes cannot yield results unless they are associated with devotional service. Devotional service is, however, is so strong and independent that it can give one all the desired results. You don't need karma or you don't need gyan to get. Bhakti will give you everything. But karma or gyan can only give you something if it has some bhakti associated with it. Ajigala, Stana, Nyaya, Anya, Sadan, Ateva, Haribaje, Buddhimana, Gyan. With the exception of devotional service, all the methods of self-realization are like the nipples on the neck of a goat. Therefore, an intelligent person adopts only devotional service, giving up all other processes of self-realization. With the exception of devotional service, all the methods of self-realization are like the nipples on the neck of a goat. What does that mean? The nipples on the neck of a goat, they look like breasts, they look like mammary glands, but they can't give any milk by themselves. They just give some appearance, but they really won't give milk. That can only come from what is a real gland, a real what do they call that? On a cow, they call that the real. What do they call it? On a cow, they call it the ubre. In Spanish, it's the ubre, but the udder. The udder, U-D-D-E-R-E-S, udder. So that can give, but the necks on the goat, nipples on the neck of a goat, they don't really give milk. They just appear. So, with the exception of devotional service, all the methods of self-realization are like the nipples on the neck of a goat. Therefore, an intelligent person adopts only devotional service, giving up all other processes of self-realization. Chaturvida bhajanti mam jana sukrito arjuna arto jagyasur artarti yanicha bharatarshava. O best among the Bharatas, Arjuna, 4 kinds of pious men render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desire of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. These 4 kinds of persons, they approach Krishna. Someone who's distressed means they're suffering, but they approach the Lord because they want to become relieved from their suffering. And that's one. The desire of wealth, they go to the Lord for wealth. They think they go to the Lord so that they can have some success in life, so that they may make some money, something like that. So they go to the Lord. The inquisitive, someone who's curious, and someone who's searching for the absolute truth, someone who's actually looking for the real thing, looking for some substance. But none of these 4 persons are actually devotees. These are just favorable conditions for approaching a devotee and then becoming a devotee. They have to approach a devotee. They're thinking, I'm suffering, so let me approach this devotee and hear from him, and then that way I'll be able to become relieved from my suffering. So these 4 kinds of persons are pious, but only when they come in contact with a devotee will they become actually devotees. So, O best among the Bharatas, Arjuna, 4 kinds of pious men render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desire of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. And then these are their titles. Arta Artarti Dui Sakama Bhitare Gani Arta Artarti Dui Sakama Bhitare Gani Jigyasu Gyani Dui Moksha Kamamani. Materialistic devotees take their devotional service and worship Krishna when they are distressed or in need of money. So those persons are called Arta Artarti. Arta means distressed, and Arta Arti, they are looking for money. These two kinds of persons are called Dui Sakama Bhitaregani. So they're what we call Kama. When we heard Moksha Kama and what was it? Sarva Karma Moksha Kama. So material desires, Sarva Kama is these Arta Artarti. Materialistic devotees take their devotional service and worship Krishna when they are distressed or in need of money. Those who are actually inquisitive to understand the supreme source of everything, and those who are in search of knowledge are called transcendentalists, for they desire liberation from all material contamination. So they're still in the level of being pious. They're not devotees, but Jigyasu Agyani. These are moksha kama. They're looking for liberation or looking for relief. They're looking for spiritual, something is spiritual, but these are the results of the four pious activities which he said. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Dharma, religion. Artha, looking for money. Kama, looking for sense gratification or enjoyment. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, looking for liberation. So Mahaprabhu is analyzing he's analyzing the Atmarama verse, and right now he's just giving the meanings of all these different word meanings, and he'll combine them. He's talking to Sanatan Goswami. So Sanatan Goswami is highly intelligent, and he can understand. For us, we're listening to it, and we can follow what Mahaprabhu is saying, but this is all directed to Sanatan Goswami. Echare sukriti hoy mahabhagavan tat kamadi chadi hoy shuddha bhaktiman. Because they have a pious background, all four types of people are to be considered greatly fortunate. Such people gradually give up material desires and become pure devotees. So these are the four kinds of pious persons who approach Krishna. And they can become devotees if they come in contact with somebody who's actually a devotee of the Lord. Sadhu Sangha Kripa Kimva Krishnara Kripai Kamari Dusangachari Shuddha Bhakti Pai. One is elevated to the platform of devotional life by the mercy of a Vaishnava, the bona fide spiritual master, and by the special mercy of Krishna. On that platform, one can give up all material desires and the association of unwanted people. Thus one is elevated to the platform of pure devotional service. So I'm going to stop at this point. Tomorrow we can continue. Well, tomorrow's Saturday. We'll see if we can have time for doing some reading tomorrow. We have a Spanish Zoom meeting also. Okay, so now I'm going to sing a Hari Harai. You have cartons? Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Charavaya Nama Yaraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatha Madana Mahan Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhattaraguna Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raguna H.I. Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan Jao Itte Vignanash Abhishta Puran H.I. Gosai Jar Mui Tarada Tasava Padarenu Mora Panchagras Kader Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas Janame Ame More Abhimas H.I. Gosai Jabed Vaje Koilabas Radha Krishna Madhya-lila Korila Prakash Anande Bolo Hare Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Aman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Gauriya Hare Nam Sankirtana Kohe Naratam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhariju ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Tilak Neriya Maharaj ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmamacharya Maharaj ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Ashtadhara Sadashi Shrimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Ashtadhara Sadashi Shrimad Srila Bhakti Rakak Shira Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhaktivedanta Thakur ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Rupanurga Guru Varga ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhattacharya Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Premsigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhaktivedanta ki jai. Vishvavaranya Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupad ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Kusham Ashram Maharaj ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Shri Navadip Dham ki jai. Shri Mayapur ki jai. Saparshada Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Saparshada Srimad Mahaprabhu ki jai. Shri Koladvip ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki jai. Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Sevashram ki jai. Ganga Devi ki jai. Tulasi Maharani ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gaur Gopi Govardhan Shyam Kun Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Jo ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu ki jai. All the assembled devotees ki jai. Gaur Premanande.